Hey, everybody. Yankee here. Welcome to another edition of Shooting the Shit with Yankee. That's me, your host. Tonight's topic is going to be what is the best caliber for self defense? A lot of us carry guns every day for self defense, and you got to wonder to yourself, well, what am I likely to face? What's going to happen out there? What do I need to be prepared for? And what caliber is going to be best to deal with that situation. And then you have to weigh that with, well, what caliber would get everything done, but I can still shoot properly? Because if it didn't matter, if anybody could shoot any caliber equally well, like if there was no such thing as recoil, well, then we could all just carry 454 Casull or 4570 or whatever, and not have to worry about anything. Even if we were attacked by an angry roaming band of giraffes at the bus stop, we'd be okay if we had like 4570. But that recoil's a thing, so we all have to think about that. And having thought about it for a very long time, I think it's not going to surprise anyone that I think the very best caliber for self-defense, and you can challenge me on this if you choose to, is 357 Magnum. One of the reasons it's really good for self-defense is because you can always practice with 38 Special and then carry 357 Magnum when you need to take care of business. 357 Magnum has excellent hard barrier penetration, especially if you choose a solid copper round or something like that. It'll go through car doors like butter, windshields like butter. Has the power needed to penetrate. You're not going to be bouncing off of bones easily with a 357 Magnum. It's going to splinter them bones. It's a great caliber, but it's not so powerful that people can't handle it, especially in a good, decent-sized revolver like a Colt Python, a Smith & Wesson 686. Most people can handle that, especially if they train with it with 38s and they can handle that. Well, come a bad situation when, the crap hits the rotating blades, you'll be able to handle it. You probably won't even notice you're shooting it hardly. So 357, I think, is just the best round you could carry. It is, like I said, capable, and you can get it in multiple different loadings. You can get it from where it's, rounded like a 10 millimeter up to where it's getting near, hunting caliber, handgun calibers range. I mean, take down pigs, etc. So I think the best overall caliber is 357 Magnum because you're not surrendering much as far as power, but you're getting handling, you're getting ease of carry, all these other things, and some of the best guns in the world, like the Smith & Wesson 686, are chambered in it. So you get a great gun with a great round. Now, that's for people who carry revolvers. Well, if you carry a semi-automatic, well, it's not as cut and dried then, because pretty much every semi-automatic caliber is a real compromise. Handguns are compromises when compared to rifles, but semi-autos are compromises when compared to revolvers, because the round needs to be able to fit in a grip that you can handle. That has to be taken into account when you design the gun. If you've got a great big 44 Magnum round, most people aren't going to be able to get their hand around the grip. And that's true with things like Desert Eagle, etc. They got powerful rounds, but they're not really reliable and a little bit unwieldy because they're so big. So you find yourself having to decide, well, what would be a caliber in semi-automatic that would handle most of the issues I might face? And a lot of people are going to say, well, it's going to be 10 millimeter because, that's almost 357 Magnum. And I agree with them. 10 millimeters potent. In fact, it might be too potent, because here's the thing. We know most people who carry semi-automatics can't handle real guns like revolvers. That's why one of the reasons they carry them. They can pretend like, oh, I do it because there's 20 rounds of 9 millimeter. And really, it's because it's 9 millimeter. It doesn't hurt my dainty hands. So if you're going to carry a semi-auto, 10 millimeter might be a lot for a lot of people. Plus, I think it puts a lot of stress on some of the smaller guns that people like to carry. So I'm going to say that I think 40 Smith & Wesson would be the best round if you're going to carry a semi-auto. It's more capable than 9 millimeter, especially if it's a good bonded bullet or a solid copper round like Underwood. That bullet penetrates well, glass and sheet metal. It performs well in soft tissue. It performs well against bone, but it's not abusive. on the as much on the gun or on the person as 10 millimeter is. And like I said, we're talking about people who carry semi-autos. So we're talking mostly about, frail old women, the severely elderly, incels. Those are the people that will generally carry those rounds. And the 40 is something that is still powerful enough to get the job done, but also capable of being controlled by these, weaker people. So those are the two rounds I think are the best rounds for self-defense. 357 Magnum if you're carrying a real gun, like a revolver. 40 Smith & Wesson if you're carrying a semi-auto. I don't know if anybody will have anything to say about that. I think that's all pretty hard to disagree with, to be honest. But we'll see over here if anybody has chimed in. Derek Moritz, and as you always know, as I say, it's better to have more its than less. Unless, like I said, unless it's our cancerous lesions, and then it's probably better to have less. But in most circumstances, better to have more. Paying my dues for the last gun of 2024. Hope your day is going better, Yankee. Couldn't go much worse than yet. Well, it could. I mean, everything that happened is first world problems, white guy problems. But I'm a white guy, so those are problems to me. And I live in the first world. I would rather live in the first world and have no problems. But that just doesn't seem to be par for my course, if you know what I mean. You should do a video on how to sight in a red dot on a pistol and what range is the best. Well, I don't know if I can say what range is best. That could probably be a different topic. How should you sight? Where should you sight your pistol at? That would be a good topic for another chat. I'll have to keep that in mind because it's going to depend on what you consider to be the most likely thing you're going to face. As far as doing it, I always sight in my iron sights. Like I'll take my gun to the range and let's say I want to be dead accurate at 20 yards. I will sight my gun, my iron sights at 20 yards, and then I just adjust my red dot to where it's on the sights. That's the way I do it. That's because I am an iron sights person first, and then a red dot later. Other people more modern, and by that I mean younger than me, might be different, but that's kind of how I do it. 545 by 39 said 45 ACP because Merca. I just, I have a soft spot in my heart, like most people, for 45 ACP. 1911s. I always think they should be 45 ACP. And if they're not 45 ACP, they should be 10 millimeter because then they're actually useful. With 45 ACP, they're traditional. With 10 millimeter, they're useful. But unfortunately, a lot of them are in 9 millimeter, which means they're junk. So I have one 9 millimeter 1911, and it's fine. I just wouldn't want to trust my life to it. What if that person that comes at me is wearing, I don't know, a windbreaker or something? 9 millimeter and might not get through it. So I don't really like them in 9 millimeter. But 45 ACP, I do have a place for because, like I said, it is traditional, and 10 millimeter in a 1911 because it's functional. Mr. Furley chimed in here and said, I carry 9 millimeter in a Glock platform. I shoot it well. Of course, it's made for, like I said, incels, the extremely elderly, old women, I'm not saying which one you are. I don't know. Room for accessories, and it conceals well. I like 40. Can't shoot it all that as well. Well, that's a practice issue. Practice more. The only problem with practicing with 40 is it's more expensive to practice with 40. That is an issue a lot of people will face, that 40 Smith & Wesson is more expensive. But what's your life worth? I like to think most people's life is worth carrying a more capable round. So go for it. Carry the better round. Practice with the better round. Make it a priority. Spend a little money on it. Instead of getting that facial this month, however you get it, buy some 40 ammo and practice. Instead of getting a pedicure, buy some 40 ammo and practice. I just think it's good advice. And I assume people who carry 9 millimeter get facials and pedicures. But like I said, I think it's worth it to actually have the better round to protect yourself with. If the shit ever hits the fan. So practice, practice, practice. Or as I like to say, I guess that's what I like to say. Practice, practice, practice. Because I don't like to call it training. I like to call it practice. I think that's it as far as the comments coming in today. Oh, I just turned off my camera. There we go, back on. But that's my thoughts as far as best caliber for self-defense goes. I hope everybody agrees with me. Seems like most people will, of course. If you disagree with me, feel free to let me know. You can even come in, spank the yank, come on the chat and have a conversation with me about why you think you're right and I'm wrong. So feel free to do that anytime. Doesn't have to be the night of. You can come tomorrow. We can have a conversation after I film tomorrow's episode of Shooting the Shit. We could do another episode of Spank the Yank. So never feel bad about coming in and letting me know what you think. That's the whole point of all this. I want to get more people involved. I want it to be not just an echo chamber of me blabbering to people that are used to listening to me. I want people to come in and express their opinions. So come on in, let me know. We need more sense of community in the gun community, and we need more sharing of ideas. And because when you share ideas, a lot of the stupid stuff that people believe, because no one ever challenges it, tends to fall away. And I think that's very important right now. So thanks everyone for showing up. Thanks everyone who participated, even though there was only a few of you today. I do appreciate it. I will see you all again tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again.